Raheem Sahib, Dawud Barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala life of our Ustad Hazrat Hafiya and good health. May Allah allow us to benefit from Hazrat Dawud Barakatuh as much as we can. One saint mentioned that yak zamana sohbat ba'uliya, one moment spent in the company of Allah, in the company of pious friends of Allah Azza wa Jal, is better than 100 years of insincere worship. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. O you who believe, fear Allah, have Iman, and fear of Allah, which will preserve your Iman, which will maneuver and navigate your Iman. After taqwa, كونوا مع الصادقين, be and continue to be with righteous and truthful servants of Allah. We are blessed that we have so many friends of Allah Azza wa Jalla in our small town Batley, outside. We should take some time out and benefit from these pious nufus souls. Purify Allah Azza wa Jalla, and Allah Azza wa Jalla purify our inside and outside. Before we proceed any further, we will call upon Hafiz Muhammad Patel Sahib, a student of this madrasa, Mahmoodia, for the sanctity.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء ويقدر وفرحوا بالحياة الدنيا وما الحياة الدنيا في الآخرة إلا متاع ويقول الذين كفروا لولا أنزل عليه آية من ربه قل إن الله يضل من يشاء ويهدي إليه من أناب الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات طوبى لهم وحسن مآب صدق الله العظيم.
Now we call upon Hafiz Raheem Sahib, inshallah, and Amazon first.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I request all brothers inshallah to participate. Zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. दिल को अगर चमकाना हो तो
कर लो जिक्र इल्लल्लाह। दिल को अगर चमकाना हो तो कर लो जिक्र इल्लल्लाह। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। कोई बताए दरिया वो को ऐसी रवानी किसने दी, किसने चमकता दिन बख्शा यह रात सुहानी किसने दी। नन्हे मुन्ने पौधों को गुलशन की जवानी किसने दी। वो यकता कुदरत भी यकता, वो यकता कुदरत भी यकता, यकता है मेरा अल्लाह। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। दिल को अगर चमकाना हो तो, दिल को अगर चमकाना हो तो कर लो जिक्र इल्लल्लाह। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। अल्लाह 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 अल्लाह। सोचो जरा फिरौन के घर में है मूसा को किसने पाला, गौर करो मछली की शिकम में है यूनुस को किसने पाला। पहले आग में डाला और फिर आग को फूल किसने किया। उसके नाम के गुण गाते हैं, उसके नाम के गुण गाते हैं इब्राहिम खलीलुल्लाह। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। दिल को अगर चमकाना हो तो, दिल को अगर चमकाना हो तो कर लो जिक्र इल्लल्लाह। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। अल्लाह 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 अल्लाह। दिल को अगर चमकाना हो तो कर लो जिक्र इल्लल्लाह।
माशाअल्लाह।
अस्सलामु अलैकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह नहमदुहु व नस्तईनुहु व नस्तगफिरुहु व नु'मिनु बिही व नतवक्कलु अलैहि व नऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिन शुरूरि अनफुसिना व मिन सय्यिआति अअमालिना। मन यहदिहिल्लाहु फला मुदिल्ल लहु व मन युद्लिलहु फला हादिय लहु। ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تبارك وتعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. وقال تعالى يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. وقال تعالى وإن من شيعته لإبراهيم إذ جاء ربه بقلب سليم. وقال تعالى إن في ذلك لذكرى لمن كان له قلب أو ألقى السمع وهو شهيد. وقال تعالى لهم قلوب لا يفقهون بها ولهم أعين لا يبصرون بها ولهم آذان لا يسمعون بها أولئك كالأنعام بل هم أضل أولئك هم الغافلون. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم آت نفسي تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ما قال ربنا وخالقنا ورازقنا من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. तसव्वुफ न सूरत का तसन्नुअ है न सीरत का तकल्लुफ है, खुद ही खुदा से झुके बस यही तसव्वुफ है। खुद ही खुदा से झुके बस यही तसव्वुफ है। किसी से मैं ये क्यों पूछूं तसव्वुफ किसको कहते हैं, किसी से मैं ये क्यों पूछूं तसव्वुफ किसको कहते हैं, खुद अपने दिल को देखा और समझा इसको है। खुद अपने दिल को देखा और समझा इसको है। अला व इन्न फिल जसदि मुद्गतन इदा सलहत सलहल जसद कुल्लुहु व इदा फसदत फसदल जसद कुल्लुहु अला व हियल क़ल्ब। Respected elders, brothers, friends, ladies listening at home, first of all, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do we shukr for all His ni'mats. May Allah give us tawfiq to appreciate all Allah's ni'mats and do shukr all the time. We thank Allah for giving us tawfiq to pray Asr namaz with Jamaat and then sitting here for a bit to learn something about our beautiful deen. May Allah give me tawfiq to say something which is beneficial for myself first and then for all of us. Then we thank Qadi Saeed Saab and everyone else, the whole team for organizing this program by Hussain Saab. Allah reward you all for your muhabbat. This program is about misconceptions. What title tha Qadi Saab? Understanding misconceptions about Tasawwuf. Meaning, इसका मतलब मैं ये समझता हूँ कि people have some गलत फहमी, misunderstandings about tasawwuf. ये क्या अला भला है, क्या मुसीबत है, क्या ये tasawwuf वसव्वुफ, क्या बिदत निकाली है लोगों ने, what's all this bidat, where does this all come from? It's got nothing to do with Quran Hadith. We should follow Sunnah, we should follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These types of objections, they're nothing new. They were in previous times as well. They are happening now, they will happen in future as well. But our duty is to keep explaining. Like our mashayikh used to keep explaining. Shaykh al-Hadith, Maulana Muhammad Zakaria Saab, Rahmatullahi alayhi, Nawarallahu Marqadahu, we can call him Sayyidul Ta'ifa of our Hazrat Shaykh Yunus Saab, Hazrat Pir Saab, our mashayikh. Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria is our main source. He is the powerhouse. Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullahi was once asked this question by someone who had objections on Tasawwuf. His name was Maulana Habibur Rahman Ludhiani. He was into politics, but he used to come and meet Hazrat Shaykh on his way So once he was passing by Saharanpur, going somewhere, so he came to Sheikh's place for a bit. And along the way, whilst, in the train, he kept thinking to himself that I'm going to ask Sheikh this question. What is this Tasawwuf? You're always talking about Tasawwuf. Yeah. And if he gives me this answer, I'm going to object this. If he gives me this answer, I'm going to object like this. ये जवाब दिया तो ये इश्काल करूँगा, ये जवाब दिया तो ये इश्काल करूँगा, ये वो पुलाव पका हुआ in his mind. So, and Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah in his sleep, he was writing, and he came down, he met us, and he said, भाई जी, मैं सफर में जा रहा हूँ, तो एक सवाल है, उसका जवाब लेना है, तो आप तैयार रखना, मैं वापस आऊँगा, उस वक्त आपसे उसका जवाब ले लूँगा. I have a question, I'm going somewhere, when I come back, I'll get the answer from you because it's called, detailed answer. I want a detailed discussion with you. Hazrat said, what's the question? I said, what is this tasawwuf? ये tasawwuf क्या मामला है? कहाँ से आया है? Where does it come from? So Hazrat Shaykh said, oh, I don't need time to give you the answer. You will take the answer before you go. Hazrat said, ये tasawwuf की इब्तिदा हदीस है इन्नमल अमालु बिन्नियात और उसकी इंतहा हदीसुल ihsan है अन तअबुदल्लाह कअन्नका तराह. बस यही तसव्वुफ है. सुभान अल्लाह, क्या बढ़िया जवाब, शानदार जवाब दिया. Beginning of tasawwuf is the first hadith of Sahih Bukhari, innamal a'malu binniyat. And then you keep progressing until you get to that stage of ihsan, which is also in the hadith of Sahihain, Bukhari, Muslim, that you worship Allah as though you are seeing Him, because if you don't see Him, He definitely sees you. But that is nothing else. Now he's thinking, yeah, but kya iska? You can't think of any iska हमने. And reality is, ये ilhami jawab है. The Tasawwuf starts with hadith. As soon as you get into this route of suluk in Allah, मोटरवे है लंदन जाने के लिए M1, तो उस मोटरवे पर पड़े तो फिर आपको उस रास्ते पे पूरा चलना पड़ेगा. तो हर आदमी का काम नहीं है तसव्वुफ के रास्ते पे चलना, लेकिन हर आदमी को चलना चाहिए, ट्राई करना चाहिए. When you get on this road of tasawwuf, it's very nice, very peaceful, shortcut, closest road to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Indeed, in this road, your islah of nafs is there. You practice on your ma'mulat and you get qurb of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You become closer and closer and closer and you keep progressing. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Allah. The taraqqi and progress is unlimited. It does not have any limit. The more you practice, the more you progress, the closer you get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, this road, when you start traveling on this road, the first thing you need to do is innamal a'malu binniyat. Your shaykh will teach you how to correct your intentions. Whatever you do, you should have ikhlas in your amal. Hazrat Ji Maulana Masihullah Khan Sahib Jalalabadi Rahmatullah alayhi writes in his book Shariat or Tasawwuf that, when you get bayat to a shaykh, first thing is you correct your aqeedah, second you do the right a'mal, and third you bring ikhlas in that amal. So 3 things you have to do as soon as you start tasawwuf. Hazrat Ji writes, your aqaid should be correct, your a'mal should be in confirmation with the sunnah of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and in every amal you're supposed to have ikhlas in there. So you start with ikhlas al-niyyah. A mubtadi, a salik, a beginner, young man going on this route is told that make sure your intentions are right. Whatever you do it with the correct intentions. Whether you pray 2 rakat nafil namaz, whether you become hafiz, you read Quran Sharif, you keep roza, you give sadaqah, you do amr bil ma'ruf, nahi anil munkar, you go in the path of Allah, Jamaat, Tabligh, or any good deed, even if it's just helping someone to cross the road, or even if it's just to get some shopping for your parents, or help your neighbor, or mowing his lawn, even if it's just small deed as pulling his dustbin out for your neighbor. Whatever you do, make sure your intention is there. Your intention with that deed, whether big or small, छोटा अमल हो, बड़ा अमल हो, इखलास के साथ अल्लाह के लिए करो, अल्लाह को खुश करने के लिए करो, अल्लाह को राजी करने के लिए करो। इसको सीखना बहुत ज़रूरी है। एक दफ़े मैं खुद हमारी गुजराती शॉपिंग होती है, I came to the till to pay for my stock. There was this lady in front of me, and वो हमारा बयान सुनती है तो उनको जानती है, ओ मौलवी साहब तुम जो हाथ में, and then while she was doing it, she said, oh, I forgot my yogurt. Now yogurt was a bit far, so I was behind. I said, okay, खाला तुम पे करो लिया, I'll get it. No, sir, उधर मुझे yogurt पे, तो फिर पाकीज़ा वाला, मैं लिया, मैं लेने की, अब शैतान मेरे दिल में ख्याल डालता है कि हाँ खाला कहेंगे मौसा बुहार तारीफ होगी नहीं, तो जब जाते हुए मैंने अपनी नीयत से ये मैं नहीं खाला का वाह करने के लिए मैं नहीं जा रहा था, तो अल्लाह को खुश करने के लिए, एक गुड़िया की खिदमत करेंगे तो अल्लाह खुश होंगे। तो मैं कोई वाह कराने के लिए कि दूसरे लोग मुझे देख रहे हैं, they watching me and they will praise me that Mausa is very nice, I'm not going because of that. I'm doing her khidmat because Allah gets happy by doing khidmat of the elderly. She's an old lady, बेचारी कहाँ जाएंगी पीछे, तो मैं दौड़कर जल्दी से ले आऊँगा, वो खुश हो जाएंगी, अल्लाह खुश होंगे। ये है अपनी नीयत सही करना। You have to have ikhlas in your niyyat. That's the first thing you need to learn. If your intentions are not correct, then you're not proper Sufi. You're not on the road to of Tasawwuf. So whatever you do, make sure your intention is right. If you're an imam, you stand in that musalla, you recite Quran beautifully, and if you feel that, people will say, Maulvi Sahab, bahar Quran padhe. Okay, everything sawab is gone. You have to stand on that musalla and think that there's nobody behind me, I'm on my own, and I'm reading Quran to Allah, Allah is listening to me. What are these people? They're just going to walk off the door and forget how I recited. Allah will never forget. وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا لَا يَضِلُّ رَبِّي وَلَا يَنْسَى. Allah is going to remember how I prayed. Allah will reward me for it. So even in that qiraat, you have ikhlas in there. That is the first thing, beginning of Tasawwuf. And then you progress. Your shaykh will give you ma'mulat, things to do and things to avoid. Do's and don'ts. ये काम करने हैं, ये काम नहीं करने हैं। तो शरीयत भी ये कहती है, गुनाह है, गुनाह छोड़ना है। हर किस्म के गुनाह को छोड़ो, कोई भी गुनाह मत करो, गुनाह मत करो, गुनाह मत करो, बस। मैं सुनाता रहता हूँ, एक यंग मैन 11-12 साल का लड़का, जवान लड़का, टीनेजर। In Portugal, when they mentioned something about Durood Sharif, daily 5000 Durood Sharif पढ़ो, क़ुर्ब इश्क़ रसूल बढ़ेगा, रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम का क़ुर्ब हासिल होगा। I went after a few weeks again, and my friend tells me that, you know, one of this young man, he started praying Durood Sharif 5000 a day, and he saw Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam dream. Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to our masjid, and he could see Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He knows it's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he can't see the face. The face is so much nurani, he can't see, blurred out, can't see the face. So he said, Ya Rasulullah, I want to see your face as well. And he said, okay, go outside and do some neek amal, and then come back and you'll be seeing me. So in the dream, he quickly goes outside, he gives some sadaqah to some poor person, and runs back in the masjid. And now Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sitting in his classroom, where his ustad sahab sits, and he could see Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he rushed, he embraced Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he asked for some advice. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him 3 advices. Number 1, he said, अपनी माँ की खिदमत करो. Number 2, झगड़ा मत करो. और Number 3, गुनाह मत करो. Wow. He says, I used to respect my dad because everybody is scared of that. लेकिन मॉम के साथ बहुत बेदबी होते हैं, मॉम के ऊपर रूल ओवर करते हैं, गुस्सा भी करते हैं, बोलते हैं, जोर जोर से बोलते हैं, I'm not doing this, Mom, I'm not doing that. So he said, I used to go hard on my mom. So yes, because usually he was going there, so his report was going there as well. So Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came in his dream and he said, देखो अपनी माँ की खिदमत करो, माँ के ऊपर गुस्सा मत करो. Number two, he said that in school, he was from Pakistan and mashallah, he was built, मजबूत था. तो बच्चों के साथ स्कूल में प्ले ग्राउंड में फाइट करता था, लड़ाई झगड़े बहुत होते थे उससे. तो ख्वाब में हुजूर ने उसकी तंबीह फरमाई कि झगड़ा मत, किसी के साथ फाइट मत करो. और तीसरी चीज़ फरमाया गुनाह मत करो, because he is 12 now he is going to be baligh. So when you become baligh, the urge for sin increases, especially zina. Especially we are going through this summertime and the society we live in, there's so much nudity, nakedness, uryaniyat, fahashi. It's hard to control the eyes. You have to look down. You have to learn to look down. You have to control your eyes. तो बिला ज़रूरत बाहर नहीं निकलने का. Don't go out without necessity. तफरीह के लिए पार्क में जाना, सी साइड पर जाना, ये सब गुनाह को बढ़ाने का जरिया है. आप चाहें ना चाहें आपकी आँख का गुनाह हो ही जाएगा. तो ऐसे हालात में बेहतर है कि हम निकाले का लिसान वो जैसा का बैठक वक्त की आला होती, अपने घर में ही बैठे रहो, बिला ज़रूरत बाहर मत निकलो ताकि आँख का गुनाह हो. तो फरमाया कि गुनाह मत करो. You are young, you will get the urge to do गुनाह and sin. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, make sure you control yourself, don't sin. And this is for the youngster, and you keep mentioning this. Hazrat Shaykh Yunus Sahib, Nawallahu Marqadahu mentioned. He said, Alhamdulillah, I was punctual of namaz from very young age. In fact, he mentions one incident that we live in a village. Now, we used to pray Jummah namaz. Now, I used to be the first in Jummah namaz, even when I was only 5-6 years old. And I used to listen to the khutbah, and I had memorized the khutbah. And sometimes I used to read the khutbah loudly while walking outside playing. So one day, one Jummah, it happened that Imam Sahib was like, he never came. So now who's going to lead the Jummah? Nobody knew the khutbah. Someone said, oh, Yunus khutbah padta rahega, usko aata hai. So Sheikh said, they called where Yunus ta khutbah padta. So I went on the minbar and I did the khutbah and somebody else led the namaz. तो शेख तो पहले से नमाज के पाबंद थे बचपन से, और मशाइख जो होते हैं वो तो बचपन से ही नमाज के पाबंद होते हैं. हजरत मौलाना रशीद अहमद गंगोही रहमतुल्लाह अलैह was very young and he was paband of namaz. He was only 5 years old and he came rushing for namaz and he had to do wudu. So he draw water from the well कुएं से, लेकिन वो आपका पाँव जो है वो रस्सी में फंस गया. तो डोल जो है अंदर गई तो हजरत भी धराम से गिरे कुएं में, धारने की आवाज आई. तो लोग नमाज पढ़ रहे थे, तो लोग नमाज छोड़ के दौड़े कि ये को बच्चा गिरा. तो अब वो जो कुएं के पास आए और अंदर देखा, हे कौन? तो अंदर से हजरत ने आवाज दी, मैं रशीद अहमद हूँ, मैं ठीक ठाक हूँ, फिक्र मत करो. And he sat in the, he held on to the rope of the door and they pulled it off. तो जो बड़े होने वाले हैं बचपन ही से उनमें हौसला और हिम्मत आज़म भी इतना स्ट्रांग होता है. तो बचपन ये अकाबिर जो हमारे हैं बचपन ही से नमाज के बहुत पाबंद. हजरत मौलाना रशीद अहमद गंगोही रहमतुल्लाह अलैह, he is the imam of our Tasawwuf line. Once Hazrat came to Darul Uloom Deoband. Hazrat was the member Shura, was this trustee of Darul Uloom Deoband. So the Jalsa took place of Khatam, Bukhari, whatever, the Starbandi, etc. And it was Asr time. So Asr Azan took place, so Hazrat went for wudu. Now there was so much majma, everybody shaking hands. Hazrat Mahmoodia walked to the house and Hazrat performed wudu. Meantime, namaz started. Hazrat quickly rushed back. He joined in the salah in the first rakat. But after he did salam, he was very sad. So the Khadim asked him, Hazrat, are you okay? Anything? No. So you looking so sad. He said, आज 22 साल बाद तकबीर उला छूटी है, इस पर गम हो रहा है. After 22 years, this is the first time I missed my takbir ula. He didn't miss the first rakat, he only missed the takbir ula. Takbir ula means the first takbir. There was many takbir in the namaz. So first takbir, when Imam says Allahu Akbar, you also say Allahu Akbar straight away. That's called takbir ula. So Hazrat said, after 22 years, my takbir ula missed. These were our akabir. ये तसव्वुफ की अकाबिर ऐसे वैसे नहीं है, क्या समझ रखा है लोगों ने. Sheikh Yusuf says that I was punctual of my namaz. So the night I got Batley, I quickly did my ghusl, I washed my lungi, and I hung it on the, for drying on the string. And I was very shy of my father. So I rushed to the masjid before my father, and I didn't stand in the corner in which I normally stand. I went to the other corner, so my dad didn't see me. So when Abba came for namaz, he noticed, he saw the lungi there hanging, and he saw understood. So after namaz, he came close to me and he whispered in my ear, Yunus, ab se apne khayalat ki hifazat kar. Now Hazrat's father, Master Shabbir Sahab, Allama or Sheikhul Hadith or Mufti or something. He was a general school teacher, master in a school. But he was very pious, muttaqi, parhezgar. So he whispered in Hazrat's ear, from now on, apne khayalat ki hifazat karna. Make sure your thoughts, you control your thoughts. Because you've seen our dream, it will have recurrences. And you will get that in your mind all the time. So read A'udhu Billah, Bismillah, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem, Surah Falaq, Surah Nas, and get those thoughts out of your mind. Keep your mind clear, keep your heart clear. So, to this boy who was going to become baligh, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Gunah mat karo. So, in Tasawwuf, the first thing, your Shaykh will tell you is, you've become bay'at, so make sure you protect yourself. Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria Rahmatullah Alayhi's Mahmoodia, they are published. Our Hazrat Maulana Ibn Mutala Sahab, Nawarullah Masjid, when he used to take bay'ah, he didn't make his own Mahmoodia, he just published Hazrat Shaykh's Mahmoodia. And he used to give that pamphlet, booklet to whoever got murid, and it's in Urdu, English and Gujarati. So in there, the first thing Hazrat stresses upon is this, that जो काम करने के हैं वो करो और जो छोड़ने के हैं छोड़ो. 5 वक्त की नमाज, it's a must. Even though we are going through summer times, Fajr is hard, but you have to do the difficult thing. Isha is hard, but you have to pray Isha on time. ये जो बहुत जमा करने का जो शोर चला है, आप लोग ऐसा मत करो, वरना फिर हमारा मुल्क भी ऐसा हो जाएगा जैसे मस्जिद अक्सा में ज़ोहर असर एक साथ पढ़ लेते हैं. आप गए नहीं मस्जिद अक्सा? हम गए थे. जुम्मा की नमाज हुई, ज़ोहर की नमाज हुई, फ़ौरन ऐलान होता है कि असर की नमाज होगी, जिसको पढ़ना है पढ़ ले. तो वैसे तो शवाफ़ी के यहाँ भी ओनली मुसाफिर खान भी जमा भी सलाते हैं, लेकिन वो 3-4 सफ़े हो जाती हैं, सब वो असर पढ़ लेते हैं. ज़ोहर के वक्त में असर बिला उज़्र की, दे लोकल, दे नॉट इवन शरीफ मुसाफिर. फिर 5 जगहों पर फिर मगरिब के साथ ईशा भी जमा कर लेते हैं, और वो एक रेगुलर बन गया है. कहीं खुदा न खास्ता हम लोग भी समर में ऐसा शुरू करते, फिर विंटर में भी ऐसा शुरू ना हो जाए कि मगरिब के साथ ईशा भी पढ़ लो. जो गैर मुक़ल्लिद हैं, सल्फ़ी हैं रीजन पार्क मॉस्क में, तो वो कहते हैं कि इफ़ देयर इज रेनिंग देन यू कैन प्रे ईशा विद मगरिब, जमा भी पढ़ाते हैं. तो वो ऐसा कर्टन खोलते हैं और 2-4 कतरे गिर गए, फिर 2-4 कतरे और उसमें ईशा की नमाज जमा कर देते हैं. ये दीन की एक मजाक बना देते हैं. तो कहीं ऐसा ना हो, मगरिब टाइम पर पढ़ो, ईशा कम से कम 1 घंटे का गैप, ईशा घंटे के बाद पढ़ो, सही तरह से पढ़ो, ताकि उम्मत में बिगाड़ पैदा न हो जाए. तो नमाज यू हैव टू प्रे ऑन टाइम. फजर हो, ज़ोहर हो, असर हो, मगरिब हो, ईशा हो, कदा नहीं करना. ये फर्स्ट रिक्वायरमेंट. और फिर हज़रत ने दूसरा उसमें लिखा कि जो काम छोड़ने के हैं, जिना है, शराब है, ड्रग्स हैं, बदकारी है, as soon as you get bay'at, you will, it's emphasized, you have to give it up. Tasawwuf, you can't go on this road of tasawwuf without giving up your bad habits. And if you are, strong, if you have a strong mentality, then you will get the du'as and tawajjuh of your shaykh and you will give them. बहुत से ऐसे लड़के, हमारे हजरत के पास एक लड़का आया था, जवान लड़का, गया था वो. It was a nice young man. कुछ दिन बाद वापस हजरत के पास आया. हजरत की तवज्जो थी उसके ऊपर. कहने लगा, हजरत ये पता नहीं क्या हो गया, आपसे बैयत, I have become bayat to you and sometimes you give me this मामूलात, I am doing those मामूलात. अब मेरा हाल ये हो गया कि मेरे कल्ब से मैं नमाज पढ़ने के लिए खड़ा हूँ तो मुझे इमाम साहब का कल्ब नजर आता है. और इमाम साहब का कल्ब जो है वो सियाही से भरा है, जुल्मात से. तो मुझे डर लग रहा है मैं कैसे पढ़ूँ उसके पीछे नमाज. कुछ ही दिनों में उसकी कैफियत होगी. तो हजरत ने फिर उस पर तवज्जो डाली, कैसे निकल देगा, ऐसे दुखने नहीं. हजरत ने तवज्जो डाली, वो कैफियत उसकी चली गई. लेकिन ये हालत एक कशी है और you can't deny this, it happens. It's mentioned in the Hazrat Maulana Shafii Thanvi Rahmatullah mentioned this from Imam Ghazali Rahmatullah. Imam Ghazali Rahmatullah, his name is Muhammad ibn Muhammad, and his elder brother was Ahmad ibn Muhammad. Now they were both, Arif Billah. Their mother was also great Arifa. So, once, first of all, Imam Ghazali's elder brother, he would not pray namaz in the same masjid as Imam Ghazali, which he would not. He would pray in another masjid. So Imam Ghazali complained to his mother कि भाई मेरे पीछे नमाज नहीं पढ़ते हैं, दूसरी मस्जिद में जाते हैं. तो अम्मा ने उनको डांटा, गए अपने भाई के पीछे नमाज पढ़ा कर दूसरी मस्जिद में जाते हैं. उन्होंने कहा ठीक है, अम्मा का हुक्म है, वो आए नमाज पढ़ने के लिए. उन्होंने कॉल बांधा, थोड़ी देर भी नमाज चली, वो कॉल तोड़ के भागे अपनी नमाज. तो इमाम गजाली ने फिर अम्मा से शिकायत की, अम्मा ये तो मेरे पीछे नमाज तोड़ गई तो और मेरी इज्जत कर दी. अम्मा ने बोला, क्या बात, ऐसा क्यों किया तुमने? मैंने नमाज शुरू की तो मैंने देखा इनका दिल तो हैज के खून में रंगा हुआ है. अब इमाम गजाली in those days was writing Ihya Ulumuddin and he was writing Kitabul Hayy, and in नमाज वो मसला हैज का मगज में आ गया. तो हैज का मसला सोचने लग गई. तो कहने लगे कि वो तो नमाज में इनका दिल जो हैज के खून में रंगा हुआ है, तो मैं वो तो नमाज तोड़ के भागा. अब उनकी माँ जो है वो उनसे बड़ी आरिफा थी. तो माँ से तुझे उनका दिल देखने को किसने कहा? वो उन्होंने वुजू किया था, पीछे नमाज हो जाती है, तूने ऐसा क्यों किया? देखना नहीं चाहिए तुझे, तो अपना पीछे अंदर से लगा के नमाज पढ़ता रहे. ये तो होता है, कश्फ है, हालत कश्फिया में, यू कैन सी दीज थिंग्स. क्योंकि हम लोग बहुत दूर हैं इसलिए वी कांट नोटिस इट, बट अल्लाह वाले जो हैं उनको नजर आता है. Qalb becomes like mirror, aina. And as you can see the reflection in the mirror, if the Allah Wali's qalb is pak, saaf and clean, then the mirror catches the images and reflections of those in the masjid and they can see these things. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah, he is not just faqih, he is faqih, muhaddith, mufassir, sufi, arif billah, abid, zahid, great personality. He is one of the greatest Sufis. He, for 40 years, he prayed Fajr namaz with the wuzu of Isha. Meaning, whole night he was busy in ibadah. कौन कर सकता है ऐसा? Imam Abu Hanifa was Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi. And this is why Imam Abu Hanifa's fiqh बहुत कबूलियत मकबूलियत, क्योंकि इमाम अबू हनीफा इतने बड़े अल्लाह के वली थे तो उनकी विलायत को भी उनके फ़िक़ह में दखल है. और दुनिया में सबसे ज़्यादा जो जिस फ़िक़ह पर लोग चलते हैं वो फ़िक़ह हनफ़ी है. शायद 2/3 दुनिया बल्कि 3/4 दुनिया फ़िक़ह हनफ़ी पर चलती है. 3/4 of the world follows फ़िक़ह हनफ़ी. This is because of Imam Abu Hanifa's maqam. There was one stage When Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi said that my mustamal is napak, used water is not tahir, it's a najis. Meaning if you save your wuzu water in a bowl, then you can't reuse that water because it's not. Sahibain said it's pak, Imam Isra said it's pak, and Imam Abu Hanifa later on did ruju as well. He said it's pak. I'm doing ruju from my previous call. Now why did Imam Abu Hanifa say this number? They fuqaha say that once Hazrat Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi was in the wuzu area doing wuzu, a young man came and started wuzu by his side, and Imam Sahib whispered to the young man, Yabna akhi, tub ilallahi min zina. Dear nephew, do tawbah from zina. He could see the zina dripping with his wuzu water. The zina of the eyes, zina of the tongue, zina of the ears. He could see that falling with the wuzu water. On another occasion, another young man was doing wuzu, and Imam Sahib said to him, Yabna akhi, tub ilallahi min al-uquq. You are doing uququl walidain, abusing your parents, insulting your parents. This uququl walidain, I can see it dripping with your wuzu water. Do tawbah. Then Imam Sahib made dua, I don't want to see this, take this away from me. So that kayfiyat went away from Hazrat Imam Sahib rahmatullahi. So they see that because he could see that, that's why he said that wuzu water is najis. But then he said, no, wuzu water is pak. It's tahir, ghair mutahir. It's pak in itself, but it cannot bring you paki. You can't do second wuzu with it. But if it's the drops fall on your clothes, or you would use that for drinking or some other purpose, then that's okay. There's no harm in there. Or if you were to use it for washing clothes, like bichare, our brothers, sisters in Gaza, they lack water and food and drink. So if you were to save that wudu water and use it for washing clothes or something, that's allowed. But you can't do wudu second time with that water. Anyway, so this is what Tasawwuf teaches you first of all, that have ikhlas in your niyyat, have proper aqidah, do proper amal, and then you progress. As the Shaykh Rahmatullah said, Tasawwuf ki ibtida, for a beginner, the first thing is that he has to make his niyyat khalis liwajhillah in everything he does. Do's and don'ts, in everything, your niyyat should be khalisatan liwajhillah. And then you are given some ma'mulat, that paper, and you practice on that, whatever you can, to the best of your ability. If no 100%, 90%, 80%, 70%, 60%, 50%, whatever is possible, you do ma'mul. Our husband used to give that. Hazrat used to say, 6 महीने के लिए पहले तस्बीहात पढ़ो, फिर जिक्र का शौक हो तो पूछना, फिर हम जिक्र देंगे. Hazrat Sheikh Yunus Sahib, we were with him in Blackburn Darul, and one of my friends got bayat to him, and Sheikh gave him some nasihat after bayat, and he said, 4 nawafil हैं और 4 तस्बीहात हैं, जहाँ तक हो सके इनकी पाबंदी करो. 4 नवाफिल, तहज्जुद, इशराक, चाश, अव्वाबी, और 4 तस्बीहात, कलमा तय्यबा, तीसरा कलमा, इस्तग़फ़ार, दरूद शरीफ. ये तस्बीहात सुबह शाम पढ़ लिया करो, और ये 4 नवाफिल हैं, इनका एहतिमाम करो, और हुकूकुल्लाह बराबर अदा करो, और हुकूकुल इबाद का ख्याल रखो. आगे फिर हज़रत ने कहा, फिर जिक्र आगे लेना है, अब्दुल रहीम से पूछ लेना. Hazrat used to say that. I used to say very close to Hazrat. So, Mashayikh, they give you these ma'mulat, and they say you practice on this. And it's up to you to practice. Now, these days what happens is, some people, they want to get bayat, but they don't want to do anything. And they want the sheikh to do everything. They only use the sheikh for 2 things. Istikhara, dream, ta'bir, interpretation, and some problem, calamity, dua, बस इसके लिए. इससे कुछ नहीं होता. असल तो पाबंदी है, मामूलात है You have to practice on the ma'mulat which are given. If you don't practice, you can't progress. Practice makes you perfect in everything. Football, maybe you want to learn how to take free kicks, you have to practice. Or plumber hair, you have to practice. You have to stay in the company of, the teachers, you learn from them, you practice, then you slowly get to, the gist of it, and you get to the perfection of it. In every field, electrician, whatever you do, you have to keep on practicing, learning, then you get perfect. So in this line of tasawwuf as well, you have to keep practicing. Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah alayhi came here and he did Khatm Bukhari Sharif in Darul Bani, the first Khatam of whole Europe, 1981, September. And that's Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah alayhi's last Khatam of his life. And he said in there, beautiful, short, simple nasihat. मेरे प्यारों, इमाम बुखारी रहमतुल्लाह अलैह ने अपनी किताब को शुरू किया हदीस नीयत से और ख़त्म किया हदीस तस्बीह पर। इशारा कर दिया कि ज़िंदगी में दो ही काम करने के हैं, एक ये कि हर अमल में इखलास नीयत हो, और दूसरे ये कि हर वक्त ज़बान पर तस्बीह हो, अल्लाह का ज़िक्र हो। अगर ये दो चीज़ें मिल गई तो हम कामयाब हो गए। तो ये मशाइख कैसी प्यारी नसीहत है। तो यहाँ भी मामूलात जो हैं उनकी पाबंदी करेंगे तो फिर तरक्की होगी, प्रोग्रेस हासिल होगा, कुर्ब, अल्लाह का कुर्ब हासिल होगा। एवरी डे विद पंक्चुअलिटी, विदाउट एनी पॉज, इंटरप्शन, रोजाना एहतिमाम से जिक्र होना चाहिए, पाबंदी से। फिर जब when you do zikr with pabandi, and your time is fixed, right? Then even the malaika in the heavens wait for your zikr. कि अब ये क़ारी सईद साहब का जिक्र आएगा, वो वेट करते हैं, they wait for your zikr. And then if you get into some difficulty and you say, oh Allah, Allah, I need to help, oh Allah, please help me. The malaika say, this voice is familiar. This voice comes every day with zikr. तो मलाइका प्रे फॉर यू कि अल्लाह ये है बेचारा, ये प्रॉब्लम में, तकलीफ में है, अल्लाह इसका मसला हल कर दीजिए, इसके लिए आसान कर दीजिए। तो अल्लाह फिर आपका मसला आसान कर देते। तो मामूलात you have to do with punctuality, and when you do मामूलात with punctuality, then slowly you keep progressing until you get to that stage which Hazrat Shaykh said to Maulana Habibur Rahman साहब, इसकी इंतहा हदीसुल ihsan है। حديث الإحسان أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. The aim and the goal of the tasawwuf is to get this sifat of ihsan in you. Now, what is ihsan? First, we have to remember that tasawwuf has various names. It's called ihsan, like in this hadith of Jibreel. It's called tazkiyah, like in the ayat I recited to you, وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ. And it's called tasawwuf as well. Where this come from? Maybe from safai, as some have said, because tasawwuf is safai of the heart. Or from other sources, some said it's from suf, because earlier Sufiya, Hasan Basri, Khaja Abdul Wahid bin Zayd, they used to wear woolen clothes. So because they were a group who were wearing these coarse woolen clothes which are not flashy, not good looking, and they are simple people, Allah wale, they're not too bothered about clothing. Due to their simplicity and their wearing of woolen cloth, they were termed as Sufi, and from that Suf means wool. Sufi means woolen kapde wala. Wool kapde wala, to wahan se bhi word tasawwuf ban gaya. Whatever its origins are, it's the same thing. You give it different names, but it's the same thing. And it is to get to that stage of ihsan. Now what is ihsan? The meaning of ahsana yuhsinu ihsanan is to do good. One meaning. For example, ahsantu kada. Ya ahsana zaydun kada. Zayd did this amal beautifully. He did good, he did well. Masalan, plumber ने ये रेडिएटर बहुत अच्छे फिट कर दिए, तो कहते हैं अहसन प्लम्बर, बहुत अच्छा काम किया इसने। नंबर 2, अहसन का सिला जब इला आता है तो उसके माना किसी पर एहसान करना। मसलन ये कहें कि अहसन कारी सईद माकड़ा साहब इला तिलमीज़ी, कारी सईद साहब ने अपने शागिर्द पर एहसान किया, उसको कुछ हदिया दिया, इतर की शीशी दी, कोई पेन दिया, कलम दिया, उस पर एहसान दिया। He was favorable to him, he did him a favor. So from there comes the word ihsan in Tasawwuf. Because from the first one, ahsana, when you do your amal beautifully, then it will be from the original meaning that ahsana zaydun salatahu, ahsana zaydun siyamahu, ahsana zaydun zakatahu, ahsana zaydun hajjahu wa tawafahu, ahsana zaydun dhikrahu. Zayd prayed his namaz in a beautiful way. He did his recitation in a beautiful way. He did tawaf in a beautiful way. So he's bringing good in his action. And number 2, if it's from the second meaning, then it will mean that ahsana zaydun ila nafsihi. Zayd did good to himself. He did ihsan on himself. Because if he was to do that amal in a bad way, then his sawab would have gone. But when he did it perfectly, with proper ikhlas, khushu', khudu', concentration, being focused in his salah, then he has done good to himself. He is favorable to himself. Ahsana ila nafsihi. This is why Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to Hazrat Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiyallahu anhu, "O Mu'adh, remember to make this dua after every namaz. Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadat." That there should be husn and beauty in our ibadat. Which means that ibadat can be beautiful and ibadat can be ugly. Ibadat can be ugly when you rush into it, your mind is not there, your wuzu is not proper, your clothes are not proper parked, your body is not proper parked, your tawajjuh is not there, you're praying but your mind is elsewhere, you're wandering all over the place, then your ibadat is ugly. It's not worthy of putting in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is Allah's fadl and His mehrbani and His grace that He accepts this puta amal of ours as well and He rewards us for it. Otherwise, our amal is not worthy of acceptance. It is worthy of being thrown away on our faces. Allah protect us. This is why some people's namaz is thrown on their faces like a piece of cloth, a bag is thrown, a dirty piece of cloth is thrown in someone's faces, their namaz is thrown in their faces. Because there is no beauty in that ibadat. So ibadat should be haseen and beautiful. And this is ihsan, beautifying your ibadat. And what is this beautifying the ibadat? What is this ihsan? What is this doing good to yourself? And Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the beauty of ibadat, whatever that ibadat is, that you worship Allah as though you are seeing Him. When you start your salat, Allahu Akbar, you have that dhyan, that istihzar, ihtisab, dawami ihtisab, istihzar, that Allah, I am seeing Allah. Allah is right before my eyes. When you go in ruku, Subhan Rabbi al-Azim, Subhan Rabbi al-Azim, Subhan Rabbi al-Azim. I'm in front of Allah. I'm seeing Allah. In your sajda, Subhan Rabbi al-A'la, Subhan Rabbi al-A'la, Subhan Rabbi al-A'la. Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, the closest a person can be to his Rabb is when he is in sajda. That's when you're closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he said, in sajda, make lots of du'as because your du'a will be accepted. Fuqaha say this is for nawafil, not for faraiz, because the basis of faraiz is on ikhtisar, and basis of nawafil is on tatweel. So in nawafil you can make as many du'as as you can. Make sure they're in Arabic, not in other language, because we get emotional and we ask for things which we shouldn't, and we might break ourselves. So make sure you learn the du'as of Quran, Hadith, Rabbana, 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 and then make those du'as in your sajda, in nawafil, in your tahajjud, ishraq, charge, awabin, maybe in your sunnah. So you can make those du'as. But this is, you worship Allah as though you are seeing Him. Because if you don't see Him, He sees you. He's watching you. If a person was working in a superstore and the manager is right in front of him and he's seeing the manager, he'll do the work properly. He'll stack the tins of beans and tomato and everything and fruit and everything properly. Or even if the foreman and the manager is not there, but he can see the camera there, and he knows that the manager is upstairs in his room and all the cameras in front and everything is recorded, he's watching me, he won't throw things around here and there, he won't sit idle, he won't go on his mobile and play games. He'll do the work properly because he knows this camera is watching me. So you have a CCTV camera on your right and left, everything is recorded, and you know that Allah is watching your every move. Allah is hearing your every word. Allah is hearing your Quran, He's hearing your tasbih, He's listening to your tahiyyat, He's listening to your durood, He's listening to your dua. He's watching you, He's looking at you. So when you get that realization, you will do your ibadat properly. And if you pray every namaz like that, like sometimes we get this kayfiyat in Ramzan. In Ramzan, when we are into the ibadat, Roza, 5-time namaz, Taraweeh, we're on a high. We feel that proximity and qurb of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And occasionally we get that feeling of istihzar in front of Allah. Now this, we should try and get this feeling al-dawam, istimrar, consistency of it. Not occasionally. When you do get that, then that life is beautiful. That life is beautiful. Beautiful. When you have that connection with Allah. You get that dhyan, istihzar in your zikr, in your namaz, in your daily life, right? You understand, you realize Allah is watching me 24/7, not in my namaz, even when I'm driving a car. Allah is watching me. Right? Allah is looking at me, so why should I sin? Why should I look here and there and stare at someone who is nude? No, I should be looking down, I should be looking straight. I should be doing my zikr. Why should I listen to songs when I'm driving? I should be listening to Quran Sharif, or I should have tasbih in my hand and I should be doing some zikr. So when you have that dhyan, istihzar of Allah in your mind, it's really peaceful life. When you get to that stage, then your tawakkul increases, your sabr increases, your rida bil qaza increases. And all you get the akhlaq hasana, your shukr increases, your sabr increases. You're on the highest level of all these akhlaq hasana. And your akhlaq radila are buried underneath. Your takabbur, your hasad, your jealousy, hubbi dunya, hubbi jah, hubbi mal, riyakari, show, hirs, greed, bakhili, stinginess. It's all buried. Because you've got Allah in your heart and mind all the time. You're up there. You've got that tawazu and humility and humbleness. You've got that shukr. You've got that kayfiyat of sabr. You've got that kayfiyat of rida bil qaza. You've got that kayfiyat of hubbullah, hubbur rasul, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ishqi ilahi, ishqi rasul. What else do you need? And you get to the highest stage of tawakkul, and in that stage, Allah manages all your affairs. You don't have to do anything. Allah does everything for you. Allah does everything for you. احفظ الله يحفظك. احفظ الله تجده تجاهك. إذا سألت فاسأل الله وإذا استعنت فاستعن بالله واعلم أن الأمة لو اجتمعت على أن ينفعوك بشيء لم ينفعوك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله لك ولو اجتمعت على أن يضروك بشيء لم يضروك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله عليك رفعت الأقلام وجفت الصحف. واعلم أن النصر مع الصبر وأن الفرج مع الكرب وأن مع العسر يسرا. Beautiful advice. Two young boys, 13-year-old Abdullah ibn Abbas, he's riding behind Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, Ya ghulam, inni u'allimuka kalimat. I'm going to teach you some words. Listen attentively, carefully. Be mindful of Allah. Allah will be mindful of you. Be mindful of Allah. You will find Him face to face ahead of you. He'll do everything, prepare everything, prepare the ground for you before you get there. تجده تجاهك. إذا سألت فاسأل الله. When you want to ask something, ask Allah. وإذا استعنت فاستعن بالله. When you need help, seek help from Allah. We read إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين, but we don't have the proper meaning of that in our heart. إياك نستعين. Wallah, I only want your help, nobody else's help. You help me. You sort this matter out for me. I'm in trouble. I'm having this problem. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to turn to. You have to help me. You turn to Allah, seek His help. Allah will help you. And Huzur goes on. And know, keep in your heart and mind, that if the whole world was to get together to benefit you, they cannot benefit you except with what Allah has decreed for you. And if they were to get together to harm you, they cannot harm you with anything except what Allah has written in your taqdeer. In another riwayat, he also said, "Ta'arraf ila Allah fi al-rakha ya'rifka fi al-shiddah." Introduce yourself to Allah in your good times, and Allah will know you in your bad times. So when you're going, जब अच्छी हालत चल रही है, आराम है, सुकून है, राहत है, तो अपने आप को अल्लाह के सामने पेश करो, इंट्रोड्यूस करो। तो उसका फायदा ये होगा कि जब प्रॉब्लम आएगा तो उस वक्त अल्लाह खुद तुम्हारी मदद के लिए उतर पड़ेगा। और सब अजान कितने बजे है? 59। अच्छा, मैं समझा कि 10 मिनट और है। बहरहाल चलो आपको फिनिश कर देना है। तो बहरहाल ये बात यहाँ से चली कि तसव्वुफ क्या अला बला है, तो उसको हमने हजरत शेख रहमतुल्लाह अलैह का एक कौल आपको बता दिया जिसपे कोई इश्काल करने की गुंजाइश ही नहीं है। वो क्या है? तसव्वुफ स्टार्ट्स विद, बोलो, दिल में इखलास नियत, and you keep progressing, rising up and up and up and up, and you get up there and you get that sifat of istihzar, dhyan, tawajjuh ila Allah, and Allah is with you all the time. Allah will help you, Allah will be with you. When you get to that stage, this is the aim of Tasawwuf. Tasawwuf is nothing else. And for this, sometimes, there are various ways, like Imam Ghazali has mentioned. One of the ways is abundance of zikrullah. When you do lots of zikr, then zikrullah sets in your heart. And the bad habits and bad traits are buried under, and zikrullah is ghali. So when you do lots of zikr, you get to that stage beyond istighfar. So our mashayikh teaches zikr, and various ways of zikr. Silent zikr, loud zikr, ijtimai zikr. Qadri silsila, they do loud ijtimai zikr. Naqshbandi silsila do silent zikr. Chishti silsila, they have jahri zikr on individual basis. Sohrawardi silsila, they have their zikr. Rifai silsila, they have their various ways of zikr. हज़रत थानवी रहमतुल्लाह अलैह से मैं अल्लाह अल्लाह करने वालों पर कभी भी इश्काल नहीं करता, हालांकि मैं नुक्ताचीनी मेरे अंदर बहुत है, लेकिन अल्लाह अल्लाह वालों पर इश्काल नहीं करता, क्योंकि ये अल्लाह अल्लाह वाले अल्लाह को प्यारे हैं। क्या पता किस वक्त अल्लाह की नज़र करम इन पर पड़ जाए, अगर ये कोई गलत काम भी कर रहे हैं, इनको तौबा की तौफीक हो जाए तो इनका तो काम बन जाए और मैं उन पर इश्काल करने की वजह से फंस जाऊँ। इसलिए अल्लाह अल्लाह करने वालों को मैं कभी बुरा नहीं कहता। हज़रत थानवी का ही मसरूफ़ परसों ही मैंने हमारे सारे मसरूफ़ ग्रुप पे भेजा। तो ये है अल्लाह अल्लाह करने वालों का तो बड़ा ऊंचा मुकाम है। कभी भी कोई लोग इश्काल करते हैं ना कि ये सूफी ऐसा क्यों करते हैं, वैसा क्यों करते हैं, वो दरवेश खड़े हो जाते हैं, गोल गोल नाचते हैं, ये मुझे पूछते हैं। मैं कहता हूँ भाई देखो, मैं जो करता हूँ ना उसका मुझे पूछो, दूसरे क्या करते हैं उसको मत पूछो, मैं सारी दुनिया के मुकल्लफ थोड़ी हूँ। तुम मेरा मुझको पूछो, मैं कोई रॉन्ग कर रहा हूँ तो मैं नहीं करूँगा। वो दुनिया में ये क्या करते हैं, वो क्या करते हैं, मैं उसका जिम्मेदार थोड़ी हूँ, उसको जाकर पूछो, मुझे खत्म हो गया, बाकी खत्म हो गई। तुमको कोई इश्काल है तो जिस पर इश्काल है उससे पूछो, मुझे तो इश्काल नहीं करने का। अल्लाह अल्लाह करना है तो करो, नहीं करना है मत करो, लेकिन जो कर रहे हैं उन पर तुम ऑब्जेक्शन मत करो, करने दो उनको। अल्लाह पाक जो है उनका जिक्र कबूल करे। अल्लाह हम सबसे राज़ी। जज़ाकुमुल्लाह व आखिरु दअवाना अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद व आलिहि व सहबिहि।